So today we are going to see a very specific feature in Power BI. Power BI desktop is what you need. So install Power BI desktop. I'll give you the sample file also. This is not a hands-on session. Just learn, try it out later and then enjoy. So what are we going to do today? Everyone knows how we manage various aspects of data analytics. We get the data, we clean it up, we visualize it, then present it to someone during reviews, meetings, and so on. Now the question is, when you are presenting your final reports, which reports are you going to present depends on what is the norm, what reports are typically expected. That is going to be a part of your presentation. During the presentation, people are going to ask you some additional questions, because only when people see the reports, they are going to get additional questions. Unfortunately, most often when a new question comes which you were not prepared for, it's not that you don't know how to answer it, but the answer is not there at that point. So the most common thing people say at this stage is what? I will get back to you. Am I right? I'm sure you have heard this before. And how not to say that is the purpose of today's session. So here is the deal. You go and look at your report, and I'm going to show you Power BI. So we have a report here, and in this report we have some fluctuation. There is time on x-axis and some amount, revenue, number of customers, products sold, whatever, some fluctuating value. And when it comes to explaining that fluctuation, that's where the problem comes. Now obviously anybody in the world is going to ask you the most obvious question. What is that? Look at that. Where is the dip, right? So if you carefully look at the chart, something was in June and then suddenly dropped. So why does this happen? So at this stage, let's understand our data. I have some city master with city and state, very simple. And I have transactions where I have already plotted two things. One is the date, and the other thing which I have plotted is the amount. So two of my available fields are already plotted. But in my data, I have other things also. This transaction happened based on which card type, what was the type of expense, the gender, the month, the population of that city, class, state. So data has many other parameters, or dimensions as we call them. So now if someone is asking me what happened between June and July, why was there decrease from 54K to 18K, that explanation I'm going to give in terms of the contributory factors. And I have so many of them. The fields which are not currently used are the factors. Now when I say I'll get back to you, of course I will give a report. Will that report be based on city? Will it be based on state? Will it be based on class, gender? I don't know. But the question is, am I going to give all those reports? Most probably not. So that brings us to another thought process. Even after a delay, I'm saying, okay, I will get back to you. You will get back with some report, all good. But are you going to analyze the underlying factors completely, or are you analyzing them partially? That's the idea. So with that in mind, let's look at how Power BI helps us. So here we have this problematic thing. So you go there, right click there, look at all the options, and you will see there is an option called Analyze. When you go to Analyze, depending on where you have clicked, in a sense, this was a drop, so it is saying explain the decrease. Just to compare this, I'm going to go to this point and say Analyze. It's saying explain the increase, so it knows where you are clicking. So now right click on that, Analyze, explain the decrease. Now what is going to happen now, and where is the AI coming into picture? Now let's understand what is happening behind the scenes. Today I click there. Now I have left this open to Power BI. Now what is Power BI going to do? It's going to look at all other dimensions or all other columns in your data. Then it is going to compare what happened in those 2 months, and then it is going to analyze for each of those columns how they contributed. Now for example, if we take a state, for example, some states the revenue may have gone down more compared to other states, so it's going to do that internal ranking also. So once it has finished doing all that, it's going to sort them in descending order of influence, and then it is going to show you the actual underlying potential causes. So let's see. So when I click on explain the decrease, all that is going to happen behind the scenes. It is saying there was a 66% decrease in the amount between June and July. Okay, we know that. We did not know the 66% part. Okay, done. But now what has it done? It has gone through all available columns and it has decided that from the point of view of influencing that decline, state is more impactful. So it is saying this is June data 55k, this is July 18k, and what happened? Whatever happened, all states seem to have gone down, right? There are a lot of states, some are even black. So whenever you see red color here, that means it has gone down. Whenever you see green color, that means it has gone up. So this is called a waterfall chart. This is now available in Excel, but for many decades people have been struggling in Excel to get this done. Never mind. This comes on platter. So everything has decreased, but now it has ranked it in order in which the states went down. So it's saying this state and this state and these four are noteworthy because significant amount of decrease in their revenue has happened from June to July. Blanks also were there, but that's a minor part, and there are many other states which there were too many to show in the chart, so it has clubbed them under a yellow thing which is called other. That's how it is showing you this concept. Now let's go further. This is just one parameter. Remember, we have many other columns in our data. So there is a scroll bar. Now you scroll down. Now what is it saying? Oh, gender also has an influence, second to state, but it has, and whatever the transactions were, females seem to have done less transactions compared to males, and it's giving you quantification of that as well. And let's go further. This is expense type. So what is it saying? Entertainment, travel, fuel, in that order has gone down, and the order of magnitude also is visible here, and that's also another important thing. So whatever went down in this state compared to whatever went down here, you don't have to read the numbers. You can actually see it visually and make some sense out of it. So in this whole process, what is happening? We are actually getting understanding of what could have happened. Now, whether that was the actual cause for a decrease or not, that any AI cannot tell you. That requires not artificial, it requires natural intelligence. So which one to interpret in which way is entirely up to you, but it is giving all these on a platter. Now let's go further. These by default come as what charts? This kind of chart is called a waterfall chart. But notice at the bottom there are other type of chart as well, and I'll explain how these are relevant. For example, here there are a lot of states, and because it has limited space to show a bar, this is essentially a bar chart in a step ladder manner, there is lack of space. That's why what is it doing? It has clubbed many smaller contributory states into something called other. So we can't really see all data values. So if you really want to see all data values, waterfall chart is not a good way to visualize. That's why we have this one. Second one, it's a simple scatter chart. Scatter chart, as you know, requires many things. It requires two numeric columns. How do we get two numeric columns? One is the data of June, one is the data of July. Both are numeric. And then it has plotted a sort of a chart, scatter chart this is, and it has plotted individual state. So now when you go to individual state, you will see what was the difference in the two amounts. This is the trend line, so to say, and this is the deviation from the trend line. And there is a green and red area also. What does green mean? It actually increased. So if you go to the green one, notice in June it was 3100 and in July it has increased, whereas all other states seem to have decreased. So here something you could not see in this chart is visible. Here you couldn't see that part at all because there was no place to probably show the green part, but here you can clearly see that Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, or whatever the two states are, actually increased. Now same thing can be done for other areas also, but here we have only two items, so it's not very useful. Here we have more items, but all the items are anyway visible, so not very useful. So when there are lots of items, use the scatter chart. Then there is another type of chart which I'm sure all of us are familiar with. For example, I have, let me show one more. So if we go to this is a standard stacked bar chart. Now stacked bar chart is another very common thing we use. So let's look at how stacked bar chart works. I did not take the state bar chart because there are too many states, and that doesn't actually tell us much because there are too many layers in the stacked bar chart. Here, this is better. So what is it saying? Travel is blue. So this is the contribution and this is the contribution. There's another very nice way of looking. Now the last one, and then we'll finish, is the fourth one, and that's brilliant. Many of us are used to stacked bar chart. This is a 100% stacked bar chart. What is not visible here is ranking. Notice in the first month, travel was contributing more. Probably entertainment was first and then travel. So rank wise, entertainment was first, this was second. Now that ranking may have changed, but in a stacked bar chart, whatever is blue remains on there, whatever is green remains there. Their order doesn't change. So we do get understanding of proportions, but we don't see ranking. So that's why we have a fourth chart, which is also a direct chart or visual in Power BI. That's called a ribbon chart. So now notice what it is showing. It's brilliant. In the first month, entertainment was contributing to the maximum, but in the second month it has gone down in the contribution. This one was third, it has become first, and so on. It is actually showing migration across months from each area. So bottom line, use this feature to explain the decrease and help people understand this more and stop saying I will get back to you. And because of this feature, I recommend to people that even if you don't know Power BI, you are still going and to send Excel reports copy pasted in PowerPoint, absolutely fine. Whatever that Excel data is, import in Power BI, just draw a simple line chart and then use this feature to utilize everyone's time and never say I will get back to you again. That's the whole idea. So I hope this approach of quick and easy, one topic per day, you liked. So if you like this, I'm going to continue this. In fact, tomorrow we are going to have another topic, and tomorrow's topic is how to send smart and effective emails. I'm going to show you 5 very small but extremely powerful ways of increasing the effectiveness of your mail. So if you liked all this, please subscribe. I also have a blog on efficiency365.com, and with that we will end the session per se.